Hopefully I have sound. I'm pretty sure I did. I just had it on the wrong setting. Before this, I went ahead and decided to try a couple of different variations of settings to see if I can get better sound and better visual quality. I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be able to accomplish that. So if you don't mind chiming in and letting me know that you can see this fairly clearly and that you can hear it clearly too, that would be really helpful. I'm going to go ahead and refresh it on my computer here. So hopefully I can follow right along with the computer. Pop it here. There it is. Okay, cool. Okay, so I've got it up now. Go ahead and pull it back up on my computer. And if you could let me know if you could hear sound, I'd appreciate it. Loud and clear. Really. Okay, thanks, William. Appreciate that, bud. Audio's great. Thanks, Andre. Great. Hey, I really appreciate you guys chiming in because it would have been terrible if I did a 30-minute video and had no sound, right? Yikes. Okay, now I've done tons of different videos for, Joshua says, now, okay, cool. Appreciate that. You know, I've done a lot of different videos. There's no doubt about it, right? But of course, we started this new series called TMF Live, where we can entertain certain questions, or maybe even different subjects, or when people email me, PM me, text message me, or message me on Facebook. People have certain questions. Sometimes they don't want to bring it up in the public forum because they might feel embarrassed, or they might feel like they're going to get attacked, so I don't mind taking on controversial issues. If you know me, I'm one of the probably most controversial people in the industry. What's up, Morgan? How you doing? And I don't mean to be, but I'm just not afraid to take on something controversial. I'm not afraid to address subjects straight and head on. And I just feel like that's necessary. And you just can't. You have to have, you know, two sides of a story. My father used to say, "There's two sides of a story, Rob, and sometimes the truth's right inside the middle." So if you can get this one other side and you can get our right side, then maybe you can come to an educated decision and see what's best for you. Because knowledge is power. Where's my free soap? Well, you want the soap, but never mind. I'm not going to touch that one right there. Let's not forget about soap. We don't use any soap. Morgan says excellent. So anyway, and I also want to mention too, I'm going to be talking about the two most popular dye classes here in the industry right now. Cool. And with these, I want people to know that I'm not anti-dye. I'm not anti-classes, of course. Because you know, I always say the more you learn, the more you earn. So I want you to learn as much as you can and earn as much as you can, because hopefully, you know, you'll patronize our services or use our services or use our products. And I want to be able to help people all I possibly can. I've had a track record of 10 years of helping people and answering questions. And only recently have we started our TMF shop and stuff like that. So I appreciate all the support on the forums, on the Facebook, and through our products. And we're constantly trying to make the absolute best products that we possibly can for you. Not much, Morgan, just cold enough for you. Hey, you're cold too, aren't you, Morgan, down there? Tell you what, man, I've never seen this colder weather before. So I want you to know, now I'm going to go through this. I'm going to go ahead and talk here for like another minute or so, and then I'm going to free flow through the whole thing. And then afterwards, I'll be glad to entertain any questions. Okay? So I want you to be able to answer, I want you to be able to answer questions, and, ask questions so I can answer them for you so you can have a complete understanding of the full ramifications, because I know we have a tendency to attract a lot of new people, and we like that. You know, I like attracting new people because it's a great industry. It's been good to y'all, it's been good to me, and I love giving back, and that's why I like doing these videos. However, a lot of these new cleaners come in, and what do they see? Weather's great here. Where are you at, Charles? I know you aren't here on the East Coast, because it's killing us. Thanks, Al. I'm glad to hear that. So anyway, you got a new person coming in. Last thing you want them to do is see these, oh, I'm buying cars, I'm getting these $10,000 dye jobs, these $5,000 dye jobs, or these certain jobs, and they don't understand the full ramifications of it. So what I want to do is take the two most popular courses in the industry and break the numbers down so you can come to an educated decision and go ahead and decide what you want to do. It doesn't matter to me which one you take, if you take one at all. And that's where we're definitely going to find out. So pop this out of here. You're in SoCal. That's awesome, man. What's a good price to charge per room? Sandy says. You know, Sandy, you need to understand your CODB, cost of doing business. And I'll be glad maybe to do that next week. We can break that down. It's going to be broken down some in here, the cost of doing business for a dye class, because a lot more to something that meets the eye. So I just can't say, well, you know, what's the ideal price? However, remember, through the truck mount forums, the TMF store, we do have a sheet available with the average prices of what people charge all around the country. It's only like $5. Get yourself one. It really helps a lot, and it covers all the diverse services from tile, carpets, rugs, upholstery, leather, VCT, you name it, the whole gamut. It's all right there, even wood cleaning. It's all in one sheet. You can give it to your technicians or you can take it out yourself, and it works great. And on the other hand, look what Michael says. He says charge per square foot. That's another thing we could take up maybe another day. Square foot versus room pricing. There's nothing wrong with either. And but however, you need to understand your cost of doing business with either one that you do. All right, I think we've about covered everything. Everybody says you can hear me clearly, correct? And you can see clearly. How you doing, Rodney? Good to see you, bud. And I've got my computer down here so I can kind of see some things. But remember, I'm going to go right through this. And then after that, we'll take on the questions. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way. And we're going to go ahead and break it down. Now, basically, there's two different die classes in the whole industry, or let's just say the two most popular, okay? One is around $2,000 and the other one's around $500. Now, there's a big disparity in there, and I'm not saying one is worth more than the other or less than the other. I want you to make that decision when you figure out what comes with it. When you go out and you buy a car, if you're looking at a Toyota, you're looking at a Lexus, or you're comparing to a Lexus and an Acura, that's fine. But you want to know what features come with it, how much horsepower, you know, how many options and stuff like that. You want to know what the options are so you can make that decision and maybe test drive a couple of them. So that's what I'm trying to accomplish here, help you test drive it. Okay, let's break down the first class. The first class is a $2,000 class, and generally it's 3 days. Okay, and it breaks down die very clearly, and generally there's 5 or 10 people in it, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. Okay? And then we're going to break it down over a year. Why do I say a year? Because there's a lot more cost involved and a lot more time involved, which you're going to see, than just that one initial cost that you see here for $2,000. So let's break it down. Now you're going to pay $2,000 for the class, ballparkish. You're going to pay $1,500 for maybe some apps, some tools, and some dies. So now, and then you've got here, I've got $3,000. You're like, where's this $3,000 coming from, Rob? Well, if you do $1,000 a day, like basically our trucks do, and you lose 3 days, you're going to lose $3,000 worth of income. So you definitely need to factor that in there. So now you're at 3, 15, and 2,000. And what about travel and accommodations? If it's not local in your area, then you're going to go ahead and have to get on a plane, drive, and go to another location. So now that's about right around $500, depending on what type of hotel you stay in, right? And food and all that. All right, so now we're up to a $5,000 to $7,000 investment already right here, okay? Now, I've got another $4,000 here, and you're going, what? How is another $4,000, okay? Well, let's think about this. You're going to have 80 hours invested at least to be able to develop this craft. It's not something you just walk inside the class, you do it for 3 days, and boom, you got it. This is something you're going to have to practice and get the hang of it. How you doing, Brian? You're going to have to take time and get the hang of this. It's an art form. Okay, so there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. So we're definitely going to see that. So over a year, you're going to at least spend maybe 2 weeks. I would hope you're going to spend 80 hours trying to develop this craft so you can go in there. Last thing you want to do is go into a, I know some people will die a whole church or maybe a very high-end commercial establishment. Are you going to walk in there with little or no training? No, you're going to need a lot of training to get in there and really do this. The last thing you want to do is do more damage, and now you're going to get sued for everything. Okay? So you have to weigh that into there. Also, what about advertising? It might be a good idea to add some type of Google AdWords or Facebook or something like that. Now you're probably going to spend like $2,000 over that year, right? Now, if you want to take the course again, it's going to cost you $3,500. This course here will let you come for free. You don't have to pay the $2,000 again, which is cool, but you're still going to have to probably pay for the travel and accommodations, and you're still going to go ahead and lose the $3,000 because you're out of work for 3 days. So remember that. So free doesn't always mean free. There's always something more involved. Remember that. Now, also I wanted to kind of mention too, if you're a vet, I know there's one course here, they'll let the vet come for free. All right, but however, remember, you still got these other costs if you're a vet. You still got to buy your apps, your tools, your die. You're still going to lose your money while you're out of work, and you're going to have travel and accommodations. You're still going to have to invest the time in it. You're still going to have to invest in advertising. you're still going to have to maybe repeat the course so you can learn it. A lot of guys go back and learn it and do it over again because they don't quite get it and they want to sharpen their trade. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's a great thing. So you can see you can easily spend $3,500 again. So bear that in mind. So now you've easily got a $15,000 investment. But you thought it was just $2,000. But there's really a lot more to it than meets the eye. I want you to understand the full ramifications. Okay. How you doing, Jay? Good to see you, bud. Like I said, remember, if you're just coming in, I'm going to go ahead and answer the questions at the end after I go through this. Now, I did a little survey on TMF, and I found out the average dye job was generally around $50. You get inside of a house, you find some bleach stains, tell the client, listen, I can go ahead and make those look like new practically. It's going to be about $50. So if you take that $15,000 and you divide it by 50, it's going to take 300 dye jobs to be able to recoup your funds. That's just a break even. So remember that. There is a cost of doing business. There is a cost of this service, and there's more to it than meets the eye. And I just want you to have a good, clear understanding. It's kind of like these guys who will go out and buy a brand new truck mount, right? They'll walk inside of a place, know nothing about the industry. They'll go in there, they'll buy a new van, they'll buy a new machine, they'll buy new tools, reels, everything, the whole thing, $70,000 invested. They'll walk out of there, don't have a clue what they're doing. Or they're just kind of winging it. They don't realize and understand the full ramifications. The phone's just not going to ring right away. People aren't going to just say, hey, I want my carpets dyed. You know, however, I will say this, carpet cleaning is a lot easier to master, and there's a lot wider variety, or I should say a larger market. Remember, dyeing carpets is a niche. It's a smaller niche. If carpets are small enough as it is, dyeing is a lot smaller. Remember that. Keep that in mind as I go through it. You're going to see how much smaller it is as we move on. Said dial hold shirts. I wonder who said dial hold shirts. I have no clue there, Tim. I'm not touching that right there. We're not talking about persons. We're just talking about classes, okay? Because I want to remain neutral. I think that's really important. Owning the forums in the past, sometimes I would get involved in the he said, she said. I don't do that anymore. Now I just remain neutral. I present the numbers and let people make their own choice from there. All right, let's go to the second class here. The second class is $500, and it's an online class. You can get an on-hands also. Remember, this is an on-hands class here. They do offer an on-hands class, and you can get the same class. Just look for it around the country. If you need, you can PM me. I can show you where these are and show you where these are, either one. But we are actually, the only one we offer is an online course, because remember, TMF is mostly an internet-based company, right? Even though we do have an on-hand school here, and we do a dye class once a year. Keep that in mind. We do carpet repair classes, rug classes, stone classes, all different types of classes, so keep that in mind. Now, and generally it's only $500. So now you got a $500 investment from the start. You've got $250 for your dye kit. Okay? Now I say zero downtime. And you're probably wondering, well, how can it be zero downtime, Rob? Because you can watch it at leisure at your own home. Okay? You can watch it. You don't have to. You can go work all day, clean carpets all day long, come back, and now you can watch it. Okay? So it doesn't cost you anything. There's no lost downtime. Forget about that $3,000 loss right there. What about travel and accommodations? Well, you travel from your van to your lazy chair, get a bowl of ice cream, you watch it. Zero. It might cost you a bowl of ice cream, right? That's about it, okay? So now you've got a $750 investment versus a $5,000 to $7,000 investment just at this point right here. All right, now the good thing is most of the dye jobs, you're probably not going to be tackling large dye jobs up the front. Even that first year, you're probably just not going to have the hang of it. It's going to take time. You're going to have to practice the trade. So you're probably just going to be dyeing bleach spots. And there's nothing wrong with that. They're watching with me, said, hello, Rob. Hey, Andre. Hello to the kids also, man. No doubt about it. All right, so what are you going to do? You're just going to basically be taking care of these dye spots. And with these dye spots, when I'm saying you're going to be dyeing little bleach spots, and that's cool. They're the easiest ones to master. All right? So you can use your current client base. You go inside the home, you see it. Usually it's by the washing machine, right? Because they've spilled some bleach, or walking down the hall. That's generally where you're going to find these. You're going to dress those, and you generally get $50 for each one. Okay, now we got here for advertising. So if you're working your current client base, you can see you can be learning and developing this trade at your own pace. Isn't that good? Instead of having to try to work and kill yourself. And remember, you're taking away from your other trade when you're also doing these services. That's not even factored in there. So remember that. Where here, you're really not taking from it. Okay, so advertising, you can watch it from your home. And if you want to repeat the class, Hey, you repeat, you watch it in your class, in your house, all over and over again. You forgot to ask the cost of dyes and other material. Now I've got that up here. I've got that here, Chad, but we'll definitely break down later. And you got the kit over here, so we got it here because here you're buying some tools and some apps, stuff like that. This could be $250. I think it can go up to $500. Don't quote me. It can. I'm not exactly sure. I just know the kit that we offer inside the store with the online course, the starter kit, which is generally all you need to get going for doing small jobs. And that's what we're kind of addressing here, not addressing large jobs at the moment. Okay? Now, so now here you are, and you got a $750 investment versus a $15,000 investment. Now, how long will it take you to recoup your money? A whole lot shorter period of time, right? At a $50 a dye job, you only need 15. Now, you're telling me you can't get 15 jobs in a year? That's probably pretty realistic, isn't it? That's probably easily what you're going to be able to come up with. $50 a job, 15 jobs, and unfortunately, sometimes people, you probably had this happen, because I offer patching instead of dyeing. And they'll usually say, and it's about the same price. They usually say, well, look, I'm getting all this work done. Would you mind throwing it in there? Well, there's nothing wrong with adding a value-added service, but I don't really like doing anything for free. You know, so generally I'll go ahead and charge them because I'll let people know, listen, if you take your car in to get it repaired and you're changing your tires and you find out your battery's weak and you want to change your battery, do you ask them to throw it in for free? What's he going to say to you? And I always say it laughingly and kiddingly, say, oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense, Rob. Yeah, no doubt about it. Okay, go ahead and do it. So it's all in how you say it. Remember, that makes a big difference. Okay, now, let's move on to the last points. Now we've kind of broken down the numbers. Now you totally understand the numbers. But now let's break it down to weighing it out. Does it fit you? Is it the right fit for you as a cleaner, as an owner-operator, as a multi-truck operator? Is it the right fit for you? Maybe you got one guy who might excel in it, because you're going to find out not everybody does excel in it. All right, so the first thing I mentioned on here is it's a niche service. I mentioned earlier, it's a small service. It's not a large service. Every house needs their carpets cleaned, but how many houses do you walk in and actually find bleached carpets? It's not very often, is it? It's really not. I mean, I cleaned for 35 years, and I probably maybe came across 10 in a year, maybe 15 in a year, and I was cleaning 3 to 4 or 5 homes a day when I was in my prime. I haven't cleaned a couple years right now, but in my prime, for 30-some years, I cleaned and I went out there, and I didn't see that much, and guess what? Those are mostly nylon carpets back in the day, too. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. All right, how about the next thing? Do you have the time to devote to the art? You know, if you're going to be an artist and you're going to develop this, remember, this basically is a very creative, and you need to be artistic to be able to get the hang of this. So do you have the time to go ahead and develop this? It's not going to just go to a class and all of a sudden you walk out, look at me, I can dye anything. It's not going to happen that way. You're going to have to develop some time to practicing. It's like if you play basketball. Let me tell you what, you go inside a house, I've seen some dye jobs and they look horrible. You know, it's definitely several shades off. You got to get that shade just right. And let me tell you what, just because you have something like an app or something like that doesn't always guarantee you're going to get it right. You still got a lot of work that's involved in there. How you doing, Marcos? Okay, now, you have the time to develop leads. You know, a lot of carpets inside of commercial buildings are generally nylon. If you see those, the squares, the carpet squares, almost all the time those are nylon, or they're blends. So generally, those can be dyed. Though but now they're moving to a lot of other surfaces or fiber types, polyesters. We'll get into that in a couple of minutes. Okay, so you have to be able to develop the leads. You have to have time to devote to the art. You have to remember it's a niche service. Now, what's the next point here? Do you have the time to take away from your current business? I mean, how busy are you already? I don't know about you, man, but I am coming, and rocking all the time. We're always super busy. So I have to weigh out, is this a good decision? I get all kinds of business opportunities thrown my way, and I have to ask myself, does this business opportunity fit me or not? If it doesn't fit you, it's a mistake. It's kind of like I always tell people, they say, well, I want to get this tool or something like that. It's going to change everything. Not really. You'd be surprised how many people bring them in here to sell them to me, or I go visit cleaners and sit inside their garage with a $3,000 piece of equipment. Why? Because they bought onto the hype. They thought, oh, wow, I'm going to make all this money, or it's going to change my cleaning. Guess what? Didn't change it. It did not change it much. Now, I'm not saying there aren't some people who utilize those tools or utilize these classes and make some money, but they might be the exception to the rule. You might not fit that. So that's why we're going through this, to see if you are a good fit for it. A reduced rate if you're already in the house cleaning. Yeah, you could definitely do that, no doubt about it. Okay, now, do you have time taking your current business? What's the next thing? Remember this, you can only dye nylon and wool. Okay, or do you feel comfortable with somebody bringing in a rug? I have a rug spa here. Do you feel comfortable with somebody bringing in a $10,000 rug? You think it's going to take you at least a year or so to develop the art to dye somebody's rug? It's probably a good possibility. Tell you what, you mess up a $10,000 rug, guess who's going to be buying it? And there's a saying in the rug industry, it's not a matter of will you buy a rug, it's just a matter of when you're going to buy a rug. You're going to buy a rug for somebody someday. So the last thing you want to do is buy a $10,000 rug, and it's usually the more expensive rugs that people want dyed. Okay, now the next point is, do you have the ability to develop the art? Not everybody's artistically inclined. I know I'm not. I know I'm mechanically inclined. I can fix just about anything. You give it to me, I can MacGyver it. You know, but not everybody's that way. So make sure that you are artistically inclined, that you have the ability to develop the art. I get messages from people behind the scenes. I'm privy to a lot of information that regular members aren't, because they'll come to me behind the scenes. Hey, Rob, I really didn't like this tool, but if I know I go out and say something about it, people will get upset and they'll attack me. They don't want the confrontation. Or I took this service or this class and it didn't work out for me, but if I go out and say something, I know there's going to be a lot of confrontation. They just eat it. So do you have that kind of money to eat? That's a lot of money to swallow, so definitely keep that in mind. All right, on hand's better? Yeah, it definitely is better. I'd say it's definitely better. But I would say the person who developed this course, I believe she's a 3rd or 4th generation person. She is fantastic at what she does. I've had the class here, and she went through a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to put this on an online course. And I'll tell you a little more about that as we move on. And the fact that you can watch this at your convenience of your own home over and over again, even if you do take an on-hands course. Isn't it nice because it's not offered by anybody else? Wouldn't it be nice to have something to refresh your memory without having to go spend this? Suppose you spent this, but now you don't have to go spend this $3,500 for accommodations and losing downtime because you've got this. Because the basic principles are right there, and it's the same thing. And you don't have to repeat the class over and over again. You can do it in the comfort of your own home and whenever you have time. All right. So remember, it's best for artistic people, but also it's best for rugs, and it's also good for people who are in the apartment business. You'll find a lot of times apartments will have cheaper carpets, and hate to say it, but it's kind of, if you ever got it up here, yeah, I'm going to go through that in a minute. I'll tell you why it's for apartments here in a little bit. Just remember, it's best for the artistic people, for rugs, and for some of your residentials who might have nylon carpets. Now, I'm kind of hitting on this a little bit. Politics, ostracism, and possibly being attacked. And what do I mean by that? I don't want to spend much time on this because I don't want people to get emotionally involved. I want them to make a mature, educated decision based on sound reasoning and cost of doing business. Okay, sad to say, there are groups, there are forums. It's all politically motivated a lot of times, and they'll get people to come out and say things or do things that might not always be factual, or they're just trying to harm the other person to raise themselves up. It's a sad way to do it, but unfortunately that's what happens. But I'm a firm believer what you put out comes back to you in full measure. You're never going to hear me actually come in and attack a person or degrade them or attack their family. It's just totally off limits for me. To me, that's a weakness of character if you're attacking somebody else. Really, what you should be doing is you should be just spending the time building yourself up. If somebody's spending so much airtime in their brain and so much time writing on the internet and developing information to hurt you, they're only hurting themselves because they're losing time, valuable energy, stuff that they could be doing and making a lot more money with it. So to me, when they're doing that, it just keeps me in the lead. That's how I feel about it. All right, now, so do you have the finances? You have to ask yourself, do you have these finances? Are you on a shoestring budget? Can you pull this off? Are you going to get the money back because you didn't have the finances? Only you can answer that. Now, if you got the luxury and you got a ton of money, hey, or you've got a business that's doing millions of dollars a year, or, you got a bunch of employees and you can just take off and go do it yourself, knock yourself out. Go on out there. Knock yourself out, okay? I have no problem. You can go either course. Knock yourself out. I still feel like this is the superior course, but if you got extra money to throw away or to develop to it, knock yourself out if you can meet all this criteria right here. Okay, and I noticed after that I've got a plan. Do you have a plan? What person doesn't sit down and develop a plan first? How foolish is it to sit down and not develop a plan, you know. If you're going to build a house and you don't have plans for that house, what's that house going to look like? It's going to look like all crooked, the wall's going to be falling. You know, you need to have the blueprints, at least some basic plans. Okay, I'm going to do it this way, this way, this way. I'm going to plan for the future if I'm going to do this or I'm going to do this one. This one might break you. The other one's definitely not going to break you. All right. Now after that, I've got, remember, a lot of your sources are going to come from apartments. Are you an apartment-based carpet cleaner? There's nothing wrong with that. I know guys who have multi-trucks and that's all they chase is apartments. I've never chased apartments. I chase high-end homes. All right? And so also I found that a lot of dye spots are generally what type of homes? They're generally in low-end homes. And there's people who can't even afford the dye of it because they don't treat the houses good or they're rental homes and stuff like that. So with property management companies, a lot of times they want you to throw it in or maybe you can go ahead and do it. So figure out what type of company you are. Are you the right type of company for this? Proper planning prevents poor performance. Amen to that. Isn't that so true? So true, Morgan. No doubt about it. So if you don't have the proper planning, expect poor performance or poor results. Okay? All right. Now, to me, I feel like carpet repairs are probably superior because you can go in there, you can go inside a closet, get a piece that matches somewhat close, or go inside their attic. They'll generally have an extra piece. If you're doing high-end homes, almost all the time they've got something in their attic. You can go cut it, blend it right in there, and it looks like new. And to me, you can generally make more money. And you're going to come across a whole lot more situations where there's carpet repairs. Almost every single home I come into, there's a transition. There is a bleach spot, or there's a burn spot. Bleach isn't very often, but tell you what, I'll see transitions that have come loose. I'll see carpets that are rippled all the time, won't you? You can verify this. So think about what you run into on a regular basis. What is it you're seeing? You're running into these carpets that need stretch because somebody's coming in wet the carpets and they pulled away from the walls, right? So you can sell them on a stretch job. You can sell them on taking care of the transitions. You can sell them on maybe somebody's using iron. We've seen that before. Somebody burnt the carpet because they were ironing on the floor. If you're in the apartment side of the business, dyeing is a must. Hey, that's fine, Michael. I got no problem with that. However, I will say this, and that's going to be my last point down in here. A lot of these low-end or these apartments now are switching out to polyesters. And what I was going to mention is polyesters and olefins, they're not dyeable. So not only now, here you've got the carpet cleaning market. Now you've shrunk it down to a niche market of dyeing, and now you're narrowing it down even further. Because why? Because you can't dye olefins, you can't dye polyesters. And I was talking to some representatives of some high-ranking people in the industry, and they said they had talked with the carpet mills, and don't quote me on this, but it was somewhere around 70–80% of the carpets being pumped out by the mills these days are polyesters. That's why they're so hard to clean. That's why I developed Rob Sickler Formula, because it's made just for polyesters. Yeah, okay. There's a cheap advertisement right there. And also I'm wearing a House Call Pro hat if you didn't notice. Okay. All right, and a TMF shirt, right? Let's see. Border dyeing, say a customer has a light carpet. Remember, I'm going to address these in a form of, and you could do a dark border to highlight the room. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I'll tell you what though. Remember, a lot of these high-end clients, you're going to be doing borders and you'll be working high-end homes, these people are the pickiest people of all. You better make sure you know your trade before you walk inside there and you start dyeing somebody's carpet. You can make a whole lot less mistakes. We've been doing carpet repairs for 35 years. And we have hundreds, maybe thousands of testimonials from people who say we're just miracle workers and we can make it look like it never happened. And let's just suppose they don't have any extra carpet. And I got to go up and I go upside the attic, they don't have anything. Well then, I can go inside a closet. I can find a piece that's very close to it I keep in my shop. We'll go put that inside the closet, take the donor piece out of the closet, and people are generally very happy with that. And I'll get it to blend right in there, and they're good to go. So remember, polyesters, olefins, they're not dyeable. There's nothing wrong with either course. You just need to know if the course fits you, if you have the time to develop the art. Just going to do a quick recap here. You know, do you have the resources for it? Are you artistically inclined? If you come onto the boards and you come in and you say, you know what, I'm not happy with this. You could be kicked out of certain groups because, you know, they'll alienate you. And so you don't want to complain. So now you have to rely upon them all the time. And you're getting further into it. So remember that. You could be ostracized and you could be possibly attacked. So keep that in mind. Do you have the finances? Have you made the proper planning? What type of clients do you have? How large is the market? You got to keep that in mind. Will you be able to recoup all your funds? Remember, Here I've added up about $15,000 in expenses for one course, $750 or more for either course, don't get me wrong. And then you got to repeat the course and you got to continue to learn them over and over again. Okay, so there's the total breakdown of the numbers and also whether it fits you or not. Now you can make an educated decision of whether you want to even get into the dye industry, or you just want to get into the carpet repairs, or you want to do both. It's your choice. One last thing I want to say, if you go ahead and you take the online course, wouldn't it be a good primer for going to either on-hands course? Instead of just walking in as a green horse, like, yeah, greenhorn, I don't have a clue, you know, I mean, man, I don't know anything about colors, dyeing, mixing, stuff like that. Yeah, I'm totally confused. Instead, now you've got yourself a nice little foundation where you can walk in to either this dye class or this dye class, and now you've got information. And so, oh, okay, now I see why. Okay, now it makes sense. Oh, yeah, this makes sense. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. So now you've benefited from either one of them by having the onlines. I cannot overemphasize having the online. I'm telling you what, we went through the nth degree in developing. We're the first ones to develop an online courses through our TMFacademy.com, and we've got 5-star reviews almost all the way across the board, and for the most part, we stand behind it 100%, so keep that in mind. Okay, I don't mind entertaining questions now. I'm going to pick this phone up in the computer. I hope you have a better understanding of what's involved in dyeing carpets. If you've got any questions, I'll be glad to answer them for you. Okay, carpet in the form of line, you got that. Dark border, got that. Thanks for your time. No problem, Nathan. No problem at all, man. I'm glad I could help. And you guys brought up a couple of interesting things that we could talk about next week, but I've been making a list of different things to talk about. So if you can think of anything else that you want addressed, you know, square foot versus per room. There's one thing, you know, but I've got a long list of all different types of things. Call said, have a great afternoon. Oh, Kyle said, oh, hey, no doubt about it. I love to be out in Cali, man. No doubt about it. I love to be out in Cali. But my business and my family definitely keeps me here, so it's hard to get away. Good info. Thanks, Morgan. I appreciate that, bud. I always appreciate your comments and everything, too. I appreciate everybody, you know. And, we worked hard over the last decade to build the truckmountforums.com and the Facebook page, our YouTube channel. You can help me in return, if you don't mind, by going to our YouTube channel and subscribing. Becoming a member on the TMF forum itself, that really helps a lot. Remember, the TMF forum is where you're going to get the most in-depth knowledge. It's kind of like a big encyclopedia. Solution dyed nylons. You know, Brian, that's a good question, and I'll definitely look into it and answer the question. As far as I know, all nylons can be dyed. Anybody can feel free to answer that if they like. Thanks for doing this. No problem, Darius. Thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate it. I will make this video available. I'll go ahead and download it into here, and I'll also go ahead and put it hopefully on YouTube so I get a chance. What's up, Frank? How you doing, bud? Hey, Frank, you got much snow up there? Did you have a bad haircut? Never seen you in a hat? Well, I'm kind of doing some shameless plugs here for House Call Pro. Remember, if you use House Call Pro, hey, time for a commercial. If you use House Call Pro, remember, ask for the TMF discount. You get 30% off for life. My wife loves House Call Pro. She said it just really helped her life, her business, the bookings. It's just so simple. Employees love it. Love being paperless. Can't say enough about it. Great info to bring to the forefront. Something about before jumping into a class head first. True, ain't that the truth, Ray? No doubt about it, man. You know what they say? Only fools rush in, right? Okay? Quoting Elvis there, I guess. Love the vibe, Rob. Oh, hey, no doubt about it. I love the vibe also, man. Aren't those welds just beautiful? Tell you what, it's a fantastic machine. 6 to 8. Whew. No way. I tell you what, Frank, it is still in the teens here. I can't believe we're having, 8 and 10 degree weather in Virginia Beach. This is the worst cold snap I've ever seen in my whole life. I'm 57 years old, to tell you something. What was the website for House Call Pro, Ken, or the other one? No problem, Brian. Anytime, brother. We're looking forward to doing this every week, hopefully. And we could, continue to remember, the more you learn, the more you earn. The more you earn, the more you might buy some of our products. Right? Nothing wrong with that. But, I still love helping people. I've helped many people for free for all my business life. Even before I started TMF, I put tons of people into business, even locals, and helped them, get their feet under themselves. 70 in California. Yes, Rodney, I am definitely jealous, no doubt about it. The House Call Pro plug. I'll go ahead and put it up in the header, Ken, when I'm done, because I'm not exactly sure. I think it's House Call Pro / try TMF, something like that, or try House Call. Anyway, I'll get it right, and I'll keep up with it. No problem, Pete. Glad I could help. I hope everybody has a better understanding. It kind of be cool to break down the cost of doing business for a carpet job, for a tile and grout job. The more you know about your cost of doing business, the better off you are, no doubt about it. Because remember, everything's about what when it comes to business. Now, I know there's a lot more variables. You want to make people happy, positive moments of truth. You're doing it for the goodwill. But still, it really boils down to whenever you're going to make an investment, you have to consider your ROI, your return on investment. Are you going to return on your investment? Are you going to recoup it? Yes or no? Do you have the ability to recoup it? And that's with everything you do, whether it's just this die class or not. Frank, doing good. House Call Pro. Free cap. Yeah, I think you do get a free cap. Don't quote me. Well, we actually got a free cap and a free shirt because we won some type of award, our company, so that was kind of cool. Not just TMF, but it was actually Dry and Clean, our carpet cleaning company, because we use it so much. I mean, they send out thank you cards, they drip postcards back for you to help you make money. I mean, that's priceless right there. Basically, my business is on autopilot. And let's suppose a guy calls this, listen, I'm running behind on a job, Rob. What can I do? Well, I just go ahead to my computer. I go over there, I slide the job over to another route. Within a second, I say refresh. He refreshes. I moved it on somebody else's route who had an easier route. So it's just so much more efficient. It makes your life go a whole lot faster. It's also a great positive moment of truth when you walk inside the customer's house and you are paperless. You're not fumbling through this, fumbling through that. I'll be walking in. I'm walking in with my UV light, and I'm walking in with my cell phone, and I'm basically looking at it. I kind of let them look at it too. They see oh wow, all their information is right there on the cell phone. Yep, Mrs. Jones, I see here you've got 10 rooms of carpets. Would you mind showing me around? Whip out my UV light, and I start looking around, and I start making small talk, right? Oh, that's cool, yeah. And they always say, well, my house is really messy. I always just say, well, that's why you have us here, or, actually you're a better housekeeper than you give yourself credit for. Always try to find something positive to comment on. Rob, when doing a full die, what is your preferred tool? Hydroforce, die bucket. I don't personally do dies. I've done a small ones, but I know a lot of people who do, and a lot of guys use the Hydroforces. They really do. And I would think some of the guys probably use the electric sprayers, but the most people I know use Hydroforces. Yeah. Some of the better people, the veteran cleaners on our forum, they're all using Hydroforces, or inline sprayers, whatever you want to call it, right? All right. If there's not any more questions, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I don't want this one to be an hour long or an hour and a half like it was last time. Don't even know how long we've talked, but I think we broke it down real well. So if you have any more questions, feel free to ask. And don't forget, you can always ask the questions here. You can message me on Facebook. You can start a thread on a question if you want to, because sometimes I'll just take hot topics like this one right here. You can message me if you're on the forum. You can email me at roballen@truckmountforums.com. Remember, we have a live chat on our tmfshop.net or shoptmf.net, whichever one it is. We have a live chat on there. You go on there, and you can just go right to the live chat, and you really have any questions answered just like that. Okay, well, I think that kind of wraps it up there. Thanks for the time. Very informative, especially for those new to the industry folks. Yeah, Michael, I think it's so important. It really is. TMF has a tendency, because we have such a deep reach, such a deep SEO, the most content in the whole industry, whether it's through Facebook, whether it's through the forum, whether it's through YouTube, we have the deepest reach. By having that deepest reach, we have a tendency to bring a lot of new people in. And I really hate to see new people be taken advantage of. So, generally you can recoup anything off a machine, but if you buy the right stuff first, you've saved a lot of money and you increase your odds. Because remember, 9 out of 10 businesses fail in the first year or so, and then 8 out of 10 of those businesses fail in the next 5 years. So your odds are really low, so keep it up there. No problem, Jay. What happened to the big bear truck or the big bad truck? I think you're thinking, Frank. It's done. However, I always catch a lot of flack You know, other people can make big mistakes and nobody says nothing. When Rob makes a little mistake, it's blown way out of proportion, right? So I try to make things bulletproof, like my ride-along DVD, the TMF Academy. So what I'm doing with this new truck, Frank, is I'm making it hopefully 100% bulletproof. Okay? So what I want to do is I want to make sure I give it a good 500 hours of field testing. We run it outside of the shop, and it has a lot of potential, but I want to bring it to market so that it's working correctly, because we all know there's a lot of truck miles that come out to the market, and guess who the guinea pig is? Yep, you and me. I've been there. I've been a guinea pig for a couple of times for some new equipment. Very seldom will I buy something new. Generally, I'll wait for it to be a year or two out there, and that's important. Need your muscle, going to hire you to smack down a couple of haters. You know, we have a new product coming out, and in that line there, that name is in there somewhere. I'm not going to say what it is, but it's kind of cool. Kind of cool. All right, Ken, Frank, everybody. Thanks, Rodney. Appreciate everybody's support. I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up because I don't want to just sit here and just ramble. Go get something, take my wife out to dinner now. Thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and I appreciate all your support. Have a great day.